What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the next episode of Sports Talk with Hawk. I am Hawk, and today we're going to dive out west, out in the open west, the old west. Today we're going to do the AFC West, which has your current Super Bowl champions in it, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Raiders. And really, we're not going to do much of a coin flip. Not going to open with a bunch of other stories. We're just going to jump right into the depth charts and see if we can get through all four of them in one podcast again, so that we can continue moving on towards football season. So without delay, here we go. We're going to save the Super Bowl champions for last. This will not be in any specific order necessarily, but I do want to open up with a team I believe is being slept on by many people. I really believe the Raiders are being swept under the radar because, well, number one, they're the Raiders. They are. That's a reality where it is. But listen to the depth chart. I'll try not to ruin any of the names so you can hear them all. But tell me if certain spots you just go, man, that could really be good. That doesn't sound like a team that's going to go only 4 wins or 5 wins. So here we go. Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, Anthony Brown Jr. are your quarterbacks. Zamir White, Alexander Madison, Amir Abdullah are your running backs. Devontae Adams, Jacob Myers, Trey Tucker, Jalen Guyton, Christian Wilkerson, DJ Turner are your wide receivers currently. Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, Harrison Bryant are your tight ends. Your left tackle is Colton Miller with Andrus Peat, the backup. Cody Whitehair is your left guard with Jackson Powers Johnson, the backup. Andre James and Ben Brown are your 2 centers. Dylan Parham with Jordan Meredith as your right guard, and then Thayer Munford Jr. with DJ Glaze as the backup there. I'm sorry, first thought, if Minshew can just get the ball out, if Minshew can get the ball just a little bit downfield, unlike O'Connell, just a little bit, just the throws he was making to Pittman Jr. last year, if he can get Adams and Myers involved that way, and that running game, I think Zamir White could have a big year, very big year. That running game could play the way it sets up to be with that offensive line. It's not bad. Their defense is a 4-3. Check this out. Everybody knows Max Crosby. Tyree Wilson is his backup. John Jacobs, Byron Young, Christian Wilkins, and Adam Butler are your defensive tackles. Christian Wilkins coming over from the Miami Dolphins. Your right end is Malcolm Koonce with Janarius Robinson, the backup. Divine Diablo and Amari Burry are your 2 your wing backers. You got Robert Spillane and Tommy Ecklenberg as your middle linebackers. And you got Luke Masterson and Amari Gaynor as your strong backers. Your secondary is where everybody believes they have a big issue. I believe it's got potential, and has a low floor, high ceiling. Okay. Jack Jones and Brandon Faison are your corners on one side. Marcus Epps, Chris Smith is your strong safety setup. Trayvon Mooring, Jaden Grant is your free safety. Jacorian Bennett, DeCameron Richardson are your other corners. Nate Hobbs is your nickelback with MJ Devonshire as the backup there. Your kicker, Daniel Carlson, and your punter, A.J. Cole. I must be honest with you. I don't know why people think this team is going to suck. I really don't. I don't understand it. I think they are a lot better than people are giving them credit for. I don't believe that they're that bad. I don't believe it's going to be a horrible season for them. And I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what they can do. They open up early against a Charger team that is not going to be fully ready to play. And I believe they're going to be ready to go. That's my feelings on it. Could they fight for a playoff spot? The AFC is really tough. And that's not going to be because of any specific thing. That's just because of the AFC. A healthy AFC quarterback carousel means you're probably not pulling out many wins easily in this side of the NFL. That's simple. But I think this team is young. I think this team has got some potential, and I think it's going to be interesting to see what could happen. All right, that's the Raiders. Now let's go to their rivals, the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not going to save them for last. Let's just go straight over. We know what the Chiefs can be. We know they can be Super Bowl champions. Really simple. That's it. All right. Patrick Mahomes is obviously still the quarterback. Carson Wentz is the backup, though. So watch for that. If Mr. Patty Mahomes ends up getting injured, he needs to go out for a quarter or two. Watch that. My favorite young running back in the NFL, Isaiah Pacheco. Love how he runs. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Demeric Prince are the backups there. Then you have a receiving core that, to be brutally honest, I don't know what the heck's going to happen. And I don't know what's going to happen just because you've got legal and you've got injury issues. So you've got Rashee Rice with legal issues, Hollywood Brown with injury issues. You've got their rookie that they drafted, Xavier Worthy, Justin Watson, Sky Moore, and Kadarius Toney. We know nobody likes Toney. We know that. The Chiefs fans do not ever really want to see him in a prominent position. We all get that. Then you got your tight ends, Travis Kelce, Noah Gray, and Jared Wiley. Your left tackle. Now, this offensive line, it's got a couple weak spots. Okay? The offensive line, Kingsley Suamatai and Wanya Morris are your left tackles. Good luck. And their third stringer, I'm not even going to try to because holy cow, not doing it. Now, Joe Thuney, Mike Calendo are your left guards. Creed Humphrey is your center, stalwart. Beautifully done. Between Thuney and Humphrey, you've got a good duo there in the middle of the offensive line on anchoring that left side. They're good. Not a problem there. The right side, though, bothers a lot of people. Last year, a guy that got penalized a ton and beat a ton, Jawan Taylor, is still the right tackle. Your backup there is Lucas Niang. Trey Smith is the right guard with C.J. Hansen the backup. That's where the potential problem issue will be. That's where you're going to find a lot of the pressure coming for Patrick Mahomes. And can that right side hold up will be the ultimate question. They run a base 43 defense. George Karlaftis, the guy from Purdue. Anyway, so then you got Malik Herring backing him up. Tershawn Wharton and Mike Pennell Jr. are your one set of tackles. Your other set of tackles are Chris Jones and Neil Farrell. With Chris Jones anchoring the defensive line, you've always got a threat. It's always there. Your right end is Mike Dana. So not a bunch of power. Now, George K, I like what he can do. I don't believe he's an every down attacker yet. I don't think he has that built up quite at this point right now. But he's good. And if they move him with Jones and stunt him with Jones, I believe will be the best way for their defense to play. Your linebackers. You've got Drew Tranquill, Nick Bolton, Leo Chenal. Or Chenal. I'm going Chanel because CH, but it could be Chenal. Your backups, Curtis Jackson, Jake Cochran, Cole Christensen. Backers aren't great. They lost Willie Gay. The backers aren't great. Bolton and Tranquill will probably be the only two on the field a lot because they're going to play a lot of nickel. They love their nickel. Their cornerbacks, they start with Joshua Williams, Kelvin Joseph, Justin Reed and Jaden Hicks are your strong safeties. Brian Cook and Deion Bush are your free safeties. Then you go to the other side, the other corners, Najee Johnson, Jalen Watson are your corners. Trent McDuffie is your nickelback. Kicker, high-paid kicker Harrison Butker. And your punter currently, Matt Ariza, the former punter from Utah with a massive leg. Massive leg. So if you stop Patrick Mahomes at the 30, you still could be pinned back inside your own 10. Matt has a leg on him. That's I wouldn't bet against how many punts inside the 20 Matt's going to have. He could have a punt inside the 20 from the other 10. The guy's just got a huge leg. All right. So the Raiders are done. The Chiefs are done. What about the Chargers? New coach, Jim Harbaugh. The Raiders don't have a new coach. The Raiders have an interim coach, lost the interim label. The players wanted him. The players vied for him. Got what they wanted. Now, they are not happy with how the offseason went, which is fine. Players are hot, cold. I mean, it is what it is. The reality is the Raiders got what they wanted. He's not a first-time coaching. It's just his first time where he's just fully got the head coach label. Jim Harbaugh, fresh coach, ready to rock and roll again back in the NFL. Now, his quarterback is already injured. He does already have an injured quarterback. Justin Herbert has the plantar injury. So keep an eye on that because that is not a fun injury to have to deal with at all. You got Justin Herbert, Easton Slick, and Max Duggan. as your quarterbacks right now. Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, Kamani Vidal. I believe Gus Edwards is going to have a big year. That is my belief. J.K. Dobbins has struggled to be healthy, but he took players from his brother's team, the Ravens. Jim Harbaugh takes players from his brother, John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh gets Derrick Henry in Baltimore. Jim then gets Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins in Los Angeles for the Chargers. So honestly, I think it'll work out for both teams in the running back scenario. Now, the big question is, who the heck is Justin Herbert going to throw to if he can stand on that foot? Well, you got Ladd McConkey, the rookie, DJ Chark Jr., Joshua Palmer, Quentin Johnston, Brendan Rice, the son of Jerry Rice, Darius Davis. Now, Jerry Rice holds a firm belief that Brendan Rice should have been drafted earlier. I watched him at USC. It wasn't overly convincing that he's going to be a top player as far as receiver is concerned. But this is the NFL. You put in the work ethic, a coach like Jim Harbaugh will know. He will see it, he will appreciate it, and he will reward it. So I could see Brendan Rice easily moving up to the slot position very soon. Very soon. All right, the tight ends. Will Dissly, who they picked up from Seattle. I like that pickup. Hayden Hurst, also like that. And Donald Parham Jr. The offensive line, Rashawn Slater, love him. Love Rashawn Slater, one of the best picks the Chargers have had for a while. Foster Searle, Zion Johnson is your left guard with Jordan McFadden backing him up. Bradley Bosman with Brendan James backing him up as the center. Troy Pipkins and Jamie Slayer as your right guards. And then Joe Alt and Alex Leatherwood as the right tackles. Joe Alt, the rookie, and Alex Leatherwood, a former player for the Las Vegas Raiders. Just hasn't really come into his own. Maybe he can find a place here. I've always thought he should be a guard, not a tackle. That's what I thought ever since he came out. Okay, so with this team, they do run a 34. That doesn't really shock me, knowing the defensive coordinator they brought in, knowing how Jim Harbaugh likes to play. I thought he may go 4-3, but they're going 34. And the defense has individual players, but you're not really, you're kind of left wondering, excuse me, how many holes can really be covered by one player. Morgan Fox is one of your defensive ends with Scott Matlock backing him up. Otto Ogbanaya as a defensive tackle with Justin Elogby as the backup. Poona Ford is your right end with Jared Clark as the backup. The defensive line leaves a lot to be desired. But then you get into the backers. Joey Bosa. Oh, okay. Khalil Mack. Oh, we're good. Denzel Perryman, Dylan Henley. Okay, so maybe it won't be so bad. No, I don't get your hopes up. Bud Dupree did come over from Atlanta. So they do have another third down specialist, which I believe will be big Third downs against the Chargers. If you're in 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, look for a package that has Bosa, Khalil Mack, Bud Dupree, and Morgan Fox. I'm going to call it their hybrid package. I think that rushing attack, they're going to be able to stunt, they're going to be able to swim move, and I believe it will really put a lot of pressure on the offensive line, because each one of them has a different set of moves that can be used. Bud Dupree showed in Atlanta last year. He's still good at what he does. The cornerbacks, Asante Samuel Jr., Derwin James Jr., Alohi Gilman, Christian Fulton, and Josiah Taylor. Those are your starting. Your backup, Taheeb Still, A.J. Finley, J.T. Woods, Deion Leonard, Robert Kennedy. Your kicker, Cameron Dicker, and J.K. Scott is the punter. All in all, you got to run with it, man. All in all, it doesn't look bad. I do have the Chargers, if Justin Herbert is healthy, making the playoffs. I think Gus Edwards will carry the ball a lot. J.K. Dobbins being the change of pace back. If he can just get a little bit of lightning in that bottle again, I believe opens up a lot of opportunity. The defensive line is definitely not strong enough to anchor this defense. The linebacking core will have to really step up. The secondary is not horrible. They've got players. But the offense is going to have to score. And that's my simple take on the Los Angeles Chargers. All right. Final AFC West team. The Denver Broncos, a team that is being slept on like no other right now. Plus 200 odds. Plus 2,000 odds to win the division. Okay? There's not a lot expected out of this team. So let's run down the depth chart, and maybe we'll see why, or maybe we'll question. Let's go. Quarterbacks. Bo Nix is currently number 1 on this depth chart. I love it. Bo Nix, I think, will get the starting job. He is a Drew Brees clone. A Drew Brees clone from Purdue. Sean Payton has his quarterback he wants. I believe the Broncos will have the ability to score, and here's why. Bo Nix, Jarrett Stidham, Zach Wilson, there's your quarterback room. Your running back room, Javonte Williams, Samaje Perine gives them a little bit of experience. Bigger back, great out of the backfield catching passes. Julio McLaughlin is third. Cortland Sutton and Troy Franklin. Marvin Mims and Tim Patrick. Josh Reynolds and Lil Jordan Humphrey are your 6 receivers. Franklin, watch for Franklin. Watch for Franklin. And here's why. Denver knew what they were doing when they drafted Troy. They gave him a player he was already used to, gave Nix a comfort zone in 4 wide receiver sets, because they really don't have tight ends to be able to put out there in 4 wide receiver sets. Tight ends are Adam Troutman, Greg Dulcich, and Lucas Kroll. Yeah, you're not spreading them out wide. Most of them are blocking tight ends. Your offensive line, left tackle Garrett Bowles and Matt Pearl. Left guard, Ben Powers, Calvin Throckmorton. That's a long one. Throckmorton. I like how it sounds, though. Ben Powers, Calvin Throckmorton, Luke Waterberg, Alex Forsyth, Quinn Miners, and Will Sherman are your right guards. Your right tackle is Mike McGlinchey and Alex Palzwetsky. So the offensive line is good. You just paid two of them, if I remember correctly. Offensive line is good. Now, the defense is a 34. Now, Denver's been a 34 for a while. They've technically been a 34/4-3. They're a hybrid team on defense and have been for, 10, 15 years. But I like how this team is set up right now. So Zach Allen is your starting left end with Angelo Blackson in the backup. DJ Jones is your nose tackle with Malcolm Roach, the backup. John Franklin Myers is your right end with Elijah Garcia as the backup there. So not a ton of power on the defensive line. DJ Jones does provide a little bit of stability there in the nose tackle position. But let's look at the linebackers. Baron Browning, Nick Bonito, Alex Singleton, Justin Stramad, Cody Barton, Jonas Griffith, Jonathan Cooper, Thomas Income. Not great. It's young. This defense reminds me of the Los Angeles Rams defense of last year. Young players, a couple of studs. Primarily when you get to corner, Patrick Surtain. The second, Levi Wallace backs him up. PJ Locke is your strong safety with JL Skinner, the backup. You got Brandon Jones, the free safety, with Delarian Turner as his backup. Damari Mathis and Riley Moss are the corners on the other side. Daquan McMillan and Reese Taylor are your nickelback. They're young. I'm excited to see the progression of Patrick Surtain. If Patrick Surtain continues to progress, I fully believe that'll be one side or one receiver the opponent will not be throwing to. Fully believe it. The defense is young. It's definitely going to have growing pains. I believe the offense will be able to control the line of scrimmage, potentially control the game flow, and their defense will be, because of how young it is, opportunistic. I don't think it's that far of a shot for them to make the playoffs like everybody else thinks. I think it's a lot closer than people believe. Bo Nix is who Sean Payton wanted. And truthfully, you get these dead cap years out of the way, the Broncos will be able to make moves. Their kicker is Will Lutz. Their punter is Riley Dixon. And that concludes the AFC West. We have one more conference to go, and then my Indianapolis Colts depth chart final, I will say, that actually has already been recorded. So we have the NFC West plus the Indianapolis Colts podcast, and the depth charts will be done heading into the 2024 season. This is all pre-cuts. I wanted to get everything done before we get into week 3. so that there were just players there that could make moves up, down, and potentially shake up what you know of that team. Thank you so much for listening, guys. It is a gorgeous Friday evening where I am at. Want to make a wish to you to have a fantastic weekend. May it be filled with relaxation, fun, friends, and family. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, ring the notification bell, do everything. Help the channel grow. I deeply, deeply appreciate it. Happy Friday, happy weekend. For Sports Talk with Hawk, I'm Hawk, and I'm out.